and welcome to today's episode of the HR Sound Off podcast show. I hope that you're doing well and that you're having a great day. And wherever you are listening to this podcast show, know that you are appreciated as an HR professional, fully support you, and I'm here cheering you on. You know that the HR Sound Off podcast show is created by an HR professional for HR professionals, magnifying HR voices. And today I am magnifying the voice of one of my favorite people. I can't even tell you where we began. I just know that I have admired and had a distance of respect for Tiersa Hall for as long as I could remember seeing her in her space. And it is an honor and a privilege to actually sit here today to be able to have a conversation with her. Tiersa, hello.
Oh, that's
Welcome.
so sweet.
Oh,
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's so great to be here. I'm so excited that we finally got this opportunity.
yes,
It's
it's
so
been too
fun.
long.
Yeah.
We've been trying to do this for a while, and
Yeah.
life has
It was
been
great.
lifing.
Yes.
But
And
here we
whoever's
are.
watching this, you were here for a specific design purpose today. And so the stars have aligned for you to watch this today. And so take everything that is to come from this
Mhm.
experience because it's destiny because we finally got this
We
happening.
finally got this happening. We are here, and this is happening today. So let's start the conversation off by introducing yourself to our beautiful audience. Tell them, who is Tiersa Hall and what is your HR story? How did you get here?
Okay, well, hi everybody again. My name is Tiersa Hall. I am originally from a small, beautiful group of islands called the Turks and Caicos. So I grew up
Mm-hmm.
on an island really small, 7 miles long, 3 miles wide. And I am currently a owner of Impactful Imprints Training and Consulting. So I do HR and culture consulting. I do training and development, team building. I'm also a certified master trainer. So all of my work is centered around employees and people centric work, which is important in today's time. And I truly believe that, from an HR's perspective, running into that, all of these things are aligned into my purpose and why I'm here. And so that's kind of what I do now. Now, my HR story is very interesting because ever since I was a little girl, I would always be that person trying to mediate two people, trying to get them to get along, trying to
Mm-hmm.
represent people who were not speaking up for themselves or couldn't do it so well. And so I thought I had a career in law. So I thought I was supposed to be a lawyer, right? And that's
Okay.
what everyone would tell me. You're going to be a little lawyer one day. And so I still couldn't decide what I wanted to do in college. And when I was finishing my general associate's degree, general because I still didn't know what I wanted to
To
do,
do.
I went to the University of Miami and I did my bachelor's degree actually in international studies with a concentration in tourism. And in my last class of the semester, I did a course on organizational behavior, and they said that HR is all about the people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the light bulb just turned on, bing! This is me. Like that
Mm-hmm.
entire course was just everything that I embodied and why I was the way I was. And so it's like when you connect with your purpose in that way, it's a beautiful thing. And so
Yeah.
I decided that's what I wanted to do. It was too late to make that a bachelor's degree, so I did my master's degree in HR management. And at the
Mm-hmm.
age of 21, I was able to start my first HR manager role. So I jumped
Wow.
right into HR. Shout out to the Harlan Group because they gave me an opportunity at the age of 21.
Mm-hmm.
And I started as an HR manager, and I literally had the creativity and the exposure to start applying everything I learned. And they
Wow.
took and respected me as an expert and allowed me to do that. You have no idea how empowering that can be.
Absolutely.
As an HR
Especially for an HR professional. Yeah.
yes, to be able to just try everything and to be able
Mm-hmm.
to make mistakes and
Mm-hmm.
to learn and to really rely on your own knowledge and the work that you've done so far. So no matter what age you are, to be able to embrace that was just huge. And I grew with
Mm-hmm.
that company, taking on another property and then another property. So I grew from HR manager. I did paymaster work, and then I grew into HR director, overseeing 3 properties for that luxury resort. So
Mm-hmm.
16 plus years of my experience has been in hospitality and HR, directly growing in the ranks. And because of that opportunity, I created a career where I did a lot of molding. I would hire
Yeah.
people young, hire people just as fresh and young as I was when I was given that opportunity. And that has allowed me to pour into the lives of so many HR professionals, see them grow to become HR managers and directors and have their own businesses. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just been the greatest part of it all. And it all started just for being able to identify my purpose as an HR professional.
Wow, that's such a powerful story. Thank you so much for sharing that. I want to pick out a couple things that I heard you say as you were talking about your journey and your career. First of all, you don't always have to have it all figured out right away. Um, because I think a lot of times we get nervous and we think like, oh, I need to know what I want to do now, but you don't. And so you could do a degree one way and then do your master's later down. That's perfectly fine. Um, Having someone or an organization that believes in you and invests in you from early in your HR career, allowing you to take what you've learned. So transfer the knowledge into practical and create great experiences and products and services for your organization, and that they trust you,
Yes.
and the ability to be able to make mistakes and know that in making those mistakes you're learning, and that it doesn't mean that you are not the expert, it doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do, but that you have a clear and a realistic view of what failure means on the job.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's so powerful. That's so
Mm,
important. Your
hmm.
confidence is so tied
Yes.
really to that.
Hmm. Because I hear a lot of HR people say, you know, especially after a few years in their career, they may lose their confidence. They feel like they don't have their voice. What are some of the recommendations that you would make to any HR professional who is struggling right now with confidence in their HR role because maybe they've made some mistakes and they haven't had that opportunity to work with a leader who recognizes that we embrace mistakes as a learning and not as a batting tool?
Hmm. Well, I would definitely, I'm glad you asked that question because that was one of the things I said I really want to make sure that HR
Mm,
professionals are aware of. And I think before I answer that, it's really tied because most times our leverage begins when we start a working relationship, right? So
mm-hmm.
if you're just, applying for a new role or starting with a new company or you're about to start working with a new company, as an HR professional, it's so important to put in the disclaimer. And this disclaimer is what I used in my career that has saved me so many times, and that
Yeah.
is to state what your stance is as an HR professional. The true essence of what we do is to represent both parties, right? And to be able
Mm-hmm.
to guide and give business perspective as it relates to the human element or the resource that we have, and to
Mm-hmm.
also represent the individuals. And so
Yeah.
being able to say, I like this job, I'm interested in it, but if I'm going to take this role, I need you to understand that I have to be able to let you know when I don't agree with something. I have to be able to communicate to you clearly my feelings on this
Yes.
subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
and that you empower me at all times to do the right thing from the perspective of HR. It's
Mm.
your business, it's your company. Whatever decisions you make as a consequence, that's outside of me. However, I need the opportunity, the freedom, and the openness to be able to state this is not in line with HR standards. For me, that was
Yes.
important. And I laugh and look back because I was only 21 years old. I'm like, how did you
Mhm.
even know to even say that? But
Yeah,
that was important in my career because that gets challenged during your career when
it
decisions have
does.
to be made or when you're saying something that's not the most popular decision or recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Your confidence can stand on that. So I
Yeah.
would encourage you anytime you're shifting opportunities, stand in that. But
Yes.
your mistake making is a part of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And so don't lose hope and
Yeah.
don't lose momentum because you didn't
Mm-hmm.
make a mistake. Some of the best learning experiences I have are through the mistakes
Through
that
mistakes.
I made. If you're
Yes.
not making mistakes, I'm sorry, you're not growing. You're not
No,
growing in HR if you're not making a mistake. If
you're
you don't
definitely
have,
right.
if you don't have a tribunal case or some weird situation that could lead to a legal challenge or
Mm-hmm.
concern, you need that. When
Yeah.
you have that, it's that scare, it's that experience that says, what do I need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen the next
Yes.
time
The
around?
next time.
So
Yes.
be willing to do that. Be aware of the risk. Be calculated. Try to educate yourself on what the potential outcomes are by
Mm-hmm.
asking yourself, what's the worst thing that could happen if I don't handle this correctly? Have
Yeah.
I asked all the right questions? Have I consulted the right people? Are there other persons that I can communicate with? I notice in the Caribbean, especially, it's in some other countries as well, people tend to not want to ask other HR professionals questions because they want them to say they want them to think that they're perfect and that they don't have
Mm.
any issues. And so you'd rather make the mistake and deal with these ridiculous
Consequences
consequences, but
after.
someone in the room that's already been through that and can save you a lot of headache. So
Yeah, it's true. I think it goes both ways. I think a lot of times, especially if you're young in HR, you're trying to prove yourself. You don't feel like you need any help because the knowledge that you've gained in the degree was enough
mm,
until you get into HR and then you realize, hold on a second, this rodeo is not what the books painted it out to be. It actually is a completely different rodeo. I
yes,
don't know what this is. And that's when you realize you need people.
yes,
And because you need people does not mean that you are less than.
yes,
But just as you said, I love what you said, the opportunity to learn through other people's mistakes and failures makes you the better person that you could be, the better professional that you could be. And so, my next question ties to that. What advice would you give to our young and upcoming HR professionals who are listening to this in terms of getting help? Where are the practical ways that you would recommend for them to get that help? I mean, I know where I would send people, but I want to hear from you. And then the other piece to this is the people who are in have skin in the game in HR. So
hmm,
we've been here for maybe 5-10 years, but we've developed this thick exterior that we won't let other people in because we feel we have to let everybody know we're okay. We've got this. And to
mm.
let anybody else in means we don't and we're inferior. Talk to the people.
Okay, so I would start by saying this. One of the things that I remember, especially as a young HR professional, was this concept of feeling like you have to be the superhero and you have to do every single thing, which
Yes.
goes beyond the borders of HR work, but leadership, helping managers discipline their staff, like hand
Mm-hmm.
by hand holding, those type of processes. And so knowing that you don't have to do every single thing and it is okay. Outsourcing is your friend. Right?
Yes.
A lot of times we don't want to outsource things because we feel that that's some kind of indicator that we can't do what we
Mm-hmm.
need to do well. And you burn yourself out in that angle because there's just too many things to do. And
Yeah.
even when you outsource something, your involvement is still great. Your involvement in the decision making, the guiding of the processes that are going to happen, whether that's outsourcing of recruitment, outsourcing of training and development. These are things that are going to help you as an HR person
Yeah.
shine brighter when you can outsource some of these mechanical processes and still have your hand in it. So
Mm-hmm.
know that you can do that without any challenge at all. And I would say to our senior HR professionals, the younger generation, just by description and guide and style, they naturally want to be independent and they know they want to prove themselves and they want to blaze their own trail.
Yeah.
But as senior persons, we need to allow ourselves to be approachable. We
Mm-hmm.
need to extend ourselves to provide insight. There needs to be more mentorships. There's young people that want to know how to do things,
Yeah.
but they don't know where to begin. And so I think mentoring opportunities would be a great way for the younger generation to connect and really see what the whole scope of things are. And I think for the young professional, understanding that there's educational expertise, but then there's the power of experience. And so
Yes.
knowing that no matter how brilliant you are and how well you are able to command the curriculum of HR and what we've studied, you're still going to need the insight. And that combination is powerful when you can
Yes.
take senior HR professional who might not have a degree, because a lot of our senior HR professionals came in at a time where degrees weren't praised. So
Yeah.
they may not have a degree, but they have such a wealth of knowledge there
Knowledge.
that
Mm-hmm.
combined with your innovation, combined with your knowledge of new processes and new technology and software, now you're heading in the direction of a really good hold on the entire scope of what HR looks like. And
Yeah.
so, next question, what do I do as an HR professional to grow, to learn? There are so many resources out there now that
Yes.
weren't out there when we came in to
It's
say,
true.
we came in, it was just a college book. I chose that textbook, went with me for many years.
Uh-huh.
Many dark
Uh-huh.
years. And now you're in a place where you have resources like Academy of HR.
Mm-hmm.
You have Cornell does a really good solid
Yes.
certificate in HR courses. You
Mm-hmm.
have, even at your fingertips, even LinkedIn. It's just
Yep.
LinkedIn is simple for just getting the mindset established on what HR
Mm-hmm.
looks like, what HR strategy looks like. You have
Mm-hmm.
a lot of resources at your fingertips that you can tap into. You have, look,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to plug you, Julie, but it's true. You have Julie that has these programs that, and I referred
Cool.
a lot of clients that way because the combination of just the foundation, but also the
Yeah.
analytics, right? We're in a new
Yeah.
time now where you have to have analytic understanding. And so
Yes.
senior and line professionals who are just coming in HR need
Mm-hmm.
that knowledge. And that's a common ground because both areas need it, right? It's not like
Oh,
one
yes.
is more knowledgeable than the other.
It's
So
true.
we're both coming in saying we need it. So that's a bonding experience. That's a great opportunity to start there and say, okay,
Yeah.
let's strengthen our analytic skills together. And now I can celebrate what you brought to the table and you can celebrate what I've brought to the table. That's
Yeah.
powerful. So
Yeah.
a meeting of the minds and the connection is
Mm-hmm.
really based on knowing that I need to trust the experience of the seniors, and seniors, I need to trust and respect the
Mm-hmm.
wealth of knowledge that comes from a young, innovative mind with new, recent training on what
Yeah.
the standards of HR is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Super powerful. Thank you so much for sharing all of those resources and examples. And I know that our listeners are fully appreciating everything that you've shared with us today. And thank you for the plug. I appreciate it. And
It's
and a huge shout out to the Academy to Innovate HR. I am a huge fan. I mean, yes, I am a partner, but I am a huge fan of the work that they do. And I know that they're very thoughtful around developing HR professionals at any level in the organization. And I really do love their work. And I'm glad that I get to be a part of that process as well with them. And that's what empowered me to, or inspired me to create my group coaching program, is surrounded by their curriculum, but knowing that I have their support in that is super powerful as well. So usually at this point I would ask my guest, what are you reading, watching, listening to right now that you think our audience would appreciate? But it would be remiss of me not to mention that you, Miss Tiersa, are an author.
ah,
Congratulations to you.
thank you.
And let's talk a little bit about your book. Tell us what it's called and what it's about.
Okay, so the title of the book is right behind. It's
I see
Culture
it.
Impact.
I'm waiting for
And
my signed copy patiently.
yes, it's on its way. It's on its way. And Culture Impact is basically a great compilation. It's actually a joint author project, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
great combination of strategies all designed to enhance the workplace and help organizations embrace culture. We know culture is the buzzword of today, and the insight and the understanding is so critical for the time that we are in. As
Yeah.
HR professionals, we've always had a keen eye and attention on people, but
Mm-hmm.
now you're looking at the emergence of 5 different generations. The young
Yes.
Gen Z is giving HR a run for its money.
Oh, yes, indeed. They ain't playing.
No, they're not. They're totally
Mm-hmm.
changing the game. And so I particularly love the fact that the statistics show that the younger generation, which is the future of what HR will represent,
Yeah.
76% of them place culture as a decision making factor on whether they stay with an organization or not.
It's true.
So, with that statistic being so heavy, culture is not an option anymore. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that's mandatory. And so, businesses and leaders that might have led with an iron fist or used force or coercion or
Mm-hmm.
threatening to lose your job to be able to get the results they need now have to innovate the way they do that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
this book has 12 authors giving you 12 different perspectives on culture. My chapter is on impactful leadership, which I believe
Uh-huh.
is critical to culture
Oh,
being
yes.
maintained because the leaders are the ones who drive it. If the leaders are
Yes.
not in tune with who they are, who they
Mm-hmm.
represent, if they're not in tune and willing to make the commitment, then they're not going to get that fulfilled sense of belonging. And people are not staying on jobs just because of pay, contrary to
No.
popular belief.
Correct.
They are staying in a place where they can see themselves represented. They're staying
Mm-hmm.
in a place where they can see their purpose for themselves being able to be lived out while at work or while
Yes.
being employed at work. And so,
Yes.
work flexibility, all of these concepts are greatly tied into what the future of the culture will have to look like. And
Yes.
statistics, we just looked at, and I love me some statistics.
I
I
love
looked
them.
at Gallup's recent poll,
Mm-hmm.
a world study on culture,
Yep.
and 67%, don't quote me exactly on the number in case I got it wrong, but 67% of businesses post pandemic have
Mm-hmm.
already outlined that they're using culture as a competitive advantage. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have that happening, if you're not doing it, guess who is? The
Yep.
competition.
It's true.
So your culture, and culture is not a simple process. It is a transformation process. Most of the transformations that we do takes 9 months to actually be able to get it and to be able to start to stick. So if you're not doing it, it's something that you have to pay attention to now. So this touches everything from, beating the inner critic that you're struggling with when you criticize yourself and your leadership, and how that ties to culture, teams, how that ties to culture,
Mm-hmm.
branding, how that ties to culture. And as a company, you're going to have to brand yourself for retention. And your retention strategies are only going to be as good as what your organization represents and how
Yep.
high performers are attracting other people within the workspace. So I
Mm-hmm.
think this is really critical to any HR professional because, of course, now that culture is the focus, they're looking to us to make the magic happen. In addition to all the
Yes.
million other things that we do as HR professionals, they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for us to lead the way. And so we have to be really sound on, what that looks like and
Yeah.
how to connect the dots.
I definitely agree. I was actually being a little bit nerdy and I went to look for the paper that you were talking about, but it is, yeah, Gallup. What we think your culture, your best culture already exists. So it's under culture transformation. And I love how they start this out by saying culture is the key to long term success. Maybe you have strong ideas about what your culture should be, or maybe not sure where to start. So here they're giving you a start. And the statistics, yes, are definitely stark when we think about the fact that organizations are recognizing that culture is the competitive advantage. And then in this part, they say, simply put, when your culture is wrong,
Mm,
employees and customers leave. So not just employees, but your customers leave. And
yes.
when you get it right, you're able to attract better candidates, retain your most talented people, increase engagement and productivity, improve employee well-being and safety, enhance diversity, equity, and inclusion, and deliver the best possible customer service. Because happy employees equal happy customers, right? When your
Yes.
employees are happy, when they have exactly what you said, that secret sauce of feeling that they understand the purpose of the organization, where they fit into that, and how they're able to live their lives in a balanced way besides and outside of work, you will have the best employee who will give your customers the best experience, which then equals retained customers,
Yes.
loyal customers who will keep coming back and will probably bring others into the business. And the organizations that don't get that are the organizations that will continuously struggle.
Yes. And they will struggle more than they've struggled
Struggled
before,
before.
because now they're going to see. And that's what
Yes.
I talk about in the book. There was,
Yeah.
people that were hitting their targets year
Yeah.
after year, beating their targets, collecting the bonus, and they're
Mm-hmm.
doing the same methodology, but it's not working. And they're like,
Yes.
what is going on? Because now you have
Mm-hmm.
to actually connect with people. They want, even the
They
customers
want it.
that you mentioned, they don't just want
Mm-hmm.
customer service. They want
No.
experience, and they want it
Yes.
personalized.
Exactly.
So
There's
it's
a
just,
huge difference between customer service and customer experience. And
yes.
I want to share this very quickly. But there was a presentation that I heard once that was given by a guy who is the, I think he runs the head of marketing for Disney. And he
Mm.
talked about, as you create an experience in your organization, think about something as simple as a car wash. And you say that you're taking your car to get washed. You know that you're going to need shampoo, you're going to need sponges, you're going to need soap to wash the car. Fine. Now, let's say we were taking our car for a valet or a spa treatment, right? It sounds different now. We've gone from a service to an experience, right? Because we're going to put in different scents to make the car smell better. It's going to be vacuumed. We're
Mhm.
polishing down the dashboard and the steering wheel, and we're getting into the console, and your
Yes.
car really is getting the love and attention that it deserves. And he said that when Disney moved from thinking about their customers as just customers, but actually thinking about them as, family members coming into the space, and they thought about their employees not just as employees, but that they are actors in the space and they are creating all of these different experiences. He said that the sales for Disney increased exponentially when
Yes.
they just change the way of thinking about a service versus
Yes.
an experience. And I
Yes.
feel when we talk about culture, that's the shift that we're making. We're not just talking about hiring people and giving them job descriptions and then they just give an output, but we're talking about creating experiences of belonging and
Yes.
clear understanding of vision and strategy and how you played a part in that as an individual in the organization. It's a
Exactly.
completely different verbiage that we're putting towards the experience that we're creating, which is why I have always been a huge advocate of saying that we're not just HR.
Right.
We're not just human resources, and we're not human capital either.
Mm.
Almost when I hear the word human capital, I think of a cattle ranch.
Yes.
I think of someone running a cattle ranch. For me, I think of people experience. I think of people
Yes.
operations. And
Yes.
I think for the last, and I thank Kalila Alokanola for this, but I think for the last 5 years, I've referred to myself as a people experience architect. I
Ah. Okay.
create experiences for people in the workplace. I try to create the best experiences for people in the workplace.
Yes.
I don't refer to myself as human resources. I don't refer to myself as a human capital. I think about people experience, and I am a people experience architect. And I
Yes.
engineer experiences with the support of a supportive leadership team
Yes.
that helps us to create a space of belonging and community, not family. I am a
Yes.
huge advocate of what Simon Sinek says about community versus family. Family, everybody bickers and stuff, but when we're a community of people with shared goals and outcomes. We may have differing thoughts, but we respect those differences because that's what helps us to make the organization greater. We must have diversity of thought.
Yes.
All of those things there are what get me excited about
Yes.
the people operations or the people experience space. I almost hate to say HR, which makes me think I need to reconsider calling my podcast HR Sound. Hey.
I like that though, and I think we're seeing slight changes there when you
Yes.
see those VP roles, and
Mm-hmm.
those roles change from VP of HR to people and
Yes. People
culture.
and
You see that
culture.
people
Yes.
emphasis now emerging, that people understand that you know we definitely well long away from personnel practices, and we're
Exactly.
in the full element. But I love this time because this time is really
Yes,
about the people, and
it
the
is.
people. It's something I call. I recently was speaking at a human capital summit, and one of the things, the theories I call it is, I call it the pendulum of advantage, right? And when we go through crisis in life, the
Hmm.
pendulum swings from the advantage of the business or to the advantage of the people because
Yes.
of what's happening. And so when the business is in control, they lead with, these are the statistics, this is what we need. The employee
Hmm.
says, I hope I can get a job so I can have a piece of this pie. I don't want to lose my job, so I will conform to the demands. But when the
Yeah.
pendulum swings in the advantage of the people are saying, job security is no longer a fear for me
Yeah.
anymore. I've just
Hmm.
experienced that. And who was
Yeah.
I stuck in the house with for 3 months? It was the
Hmm.
family that I was sacrificing time to be away from. And so now
Yes.
I'm in control now, and I
Hmm.
want a better sense of work belonging. I want some
Yes.
balance. I want some remote hybrid
Hmm.
experiences so I can no longer neglect that. And when companies embrace that opportunity
Yes.
and find the healthy medium, you get
Hmm.
employees that are motivated and putting more into their work, which, like you
Absolutely.
said, spells right back into the productivity and the bottom line.
Yes, definitely. Oh my goodness. So guys, go out and get this book. Tiersa, take it off the shelf so I can just so we can show them.
Sure.
Go
Look,
get this book,
those pages.
people.
Lots of insight and
Yes.
knowledge in here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Go get it. We'll make sure we give you the links to get everything, but
Yes.
it's definitely a good investment if you're wondering where to start. It's an
Yep.
easy read. I think I read it 3 times already on the airplane,
What?
plane, because I like to really
Yeah.
absorb everything that is in there. And
Mm-hmm.
again, we, as knowledgeable as we are, it's something about manifestation and putting things into writing, right? You're
Yes.
42% more likely to execute something you put into writing, or you
Exactly.
repeat in physical writing. So I always
Yeah.
encourage, people to do that. Take your time and enjoy the read. It's an easy read. It's a good read, and I'm not just
Mm-hmm.
saying that. It really is.
It's a good read. I believe you. So we'll definitely be picking up the culture impact books. Really love it. Thank you. So I gotta ask you the big question. What you're so busy running your business, taking care of family. What do you do to take care of you?
That's a
And
very good.
anyone who follows Teresa on Instagram might have some insights. Like if I was to guess, I would say that you love music, and so getting to concerts and having that experience I think is one. And you also love exercise. So those would be like two things for me, and I think you love to eat good food.
Ooh, you got some good insight there, Julie.
Yeah.
I definitely love music. I think for as an HR professional, music has helped me in so many ways. Just tune out the world or get back to
Yeah.
my happy space. And so
Mhm.
as HR people, you have to know what you love and what makes you happy and never lose that. Use
Yeah.
every opportunity to rebuild because we listen to everyone's problems and challenges and then we get
Yes.
drained. We got to fill up on the things we love. My newest
Mhm.
therapy has been karaoke.
No.
I love
What?
some karaoke. I
Wow.
practice at home. And so by the time I mostly sing when I'm in Turks and Caicos, when I'm back in my home country. So when
Uh-huh.
I'm there, I get to practice all the songs I've been practicing in the house.
What?
You can do that on YouTube on the TV now. Like
It's
you don't
true.
have
It's
to go
true.
anywhere. And
Yeah.
me, I like and I love all genres of music, from country to
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah.
Love music and I love words. So when the
Mhm.
words are powerful and encouraging, I have a little HR
Mm.
Conqueror playlist, and whenever when
Ooh.
things got too rough, especially when I was in operations, I used to
Yeah.
use that playlist to warm me
Yes.
up. So I love music.
Oh.
I love concerts because I love music. And
Yeah.
I like dressing up. I actually like
Yes.
being a girl.
Mhm.
Girly. I don't get to do it as often, especially when you're
Mhm.
working from home. You have to have real,
Yeah.
motivation to dress up just to sit and
It's
that
true.
one's going to see you.
Mhm.
But I love people, so I like to be around people, and
Mhm.
I've really, in the course of this last 2 years, learned to love myself more than anything else. And so
Yeah.
my bubbly personality used to be something I would kind of tone down a lot around people because some
Wow.
people would be like, "Why are you like that? Are you really like that?" Now
Mhm.
I love who I am. I embrace that.
Yes.
And when I'm in training or I'm working with people, I'm like, are you wondering if I'm like this all the time? I'm like this
It's
all the
all
time.
the time.
It's me. So I love just connecting with people. And so I love
Hmm.
being on a social media site. It's fun for me. It's reaching
Yes.
people and really just, I have this thing where I always say, meet people where they are.
Yes.
So I like to see people be comfortable where they are. If you're an
Hmm.
introvert, I love that about you. Be comfortable where you are, and I'll show you
Yep.
how to do more things with that. If
Hmm.
you're someone that is a process person, you just like to follow tasks. I love that about you because I'm not that kind of person, and I don't know
Yes.
where I would be without you. And so
Hmm.
I want you to know that all of us have things that are great about us that no one else can do. And there are going to be
Hmm.
things you see other people do that you can't do. And you sometimes wonder or wish you could do it. But
Yeah.
we all have these gifts for a reason. And so just
Hmm.
be happy with who you are, what you do, love
Hmm.
life. I have some of the most challenging things happen to me in my life. You know, I'm a
Hmm.
mom of autistic twins. My life is by no extension easy, but I am
Yeah.
a firm believer of just being able to find joy in
Hmm.
life. And if you can't find joy in what you're doing, then you need to do you need to redirect, right?
Yeah.
And you may not always be able to find a job that makes everything about it exciting. Everything has a
Hmm.
little catch 22.
It's true.
But if you can't find it at work, you better find it in the community. You better
Yeah.
find it in somewhere else at home. Find your joy and just live in it.
That's
That's
right.
really
I
it. Just
love
live
that. Oh, that's awesome.
it.
I think I can't think of any HR professional who doesn't have like a go-to music list. Like what are some of the things on yours? What's on your playlist?
Okay, my favorite song, and it's a kid song. I don't know, but my
Mhm.
favorite song right now is "Try Everything." You
Mhm.
know, it's from the Madagascar 2 movie. And
Okay.
Shakira sings it, and it's
Ah.
saying, basically the song is talking about going through a challenge, and I lost a fight, and I didn't do it,
Mhm.
and I didn't do well, but I'm gonna take a deep breath, and I won't give up. I won't give
Mhm.
in until I reach the end, and I'll start
Yeah.
again. I don't want to believe. I want to try everything. I want to try even though I know I could fail. So for me,
Mhm.
it's like, giving away the fear, letting go of the
Yeah.
fear, and just knowing that you can do it, knowing that
Mhm.
it's possible. I'm unstoppable. I like that song too. Of course,
Yeah.
mistakes. Yes, I love that because we need that affirming spirit and
Mhm.
be able to know that we have everything we ever needed in life is within us. And
Yes.
we have what we need to be able to accomplish everything. And I
Mhm.
think that's the thing that most of us are missing, right?
Mhm.
We're around friends and stuff, but not everyone is encouraging you, especially if you appear as someone who has it under control. So
Yeah.
if you're someone who's a strong person who doesn't really show people that you're struggling, then you're not going to get that encouragement
Yeah.
from everyone else because they think you have it under control. So those
Mhm.
songs are like my go-tos, especially
Yes.
if people aren't really detecting what I'm struggling with because I'm leading in joy, to be able
Yeah.
to lift my spirits up and to say, it's
Mm.
okay. It's
Yeah.
okay to have moments. It's okay. I said it the other day on my story. I was like, it's okay to cry. We all
Mhm.
have moments, and you gotta let it
Exactly.
go. You
Let
gotta
it
have.
out.
You're
Let it
human.
out.
You're
Exactly.
not a robot. So
No.
embracing those moments and using music to help build you. And I believe in that self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you listen to that, the more
Yeah.
you feel like you're a conqueror and you
Yes.
can get into life. And that's
Mhm.
music is everything, man.
It is.
It
It
really
is. It
is.
is. Music is life. I definitely agree with that. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
So, last big question. What is the biggest misconception about HR that really bothers you that you want to set the record straight on right here, right now?
Boy,
I
that's a
know there are a lot.
there's so much,
I
but
know.
misconception that of HR that
Hmm.
I want to set the record straight on.
Yes. You want to get on your soapbox and just tell us as much as you think HR is this, it is actually not.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess the one I really want to say is that HR cares, period, point
Hmm.
blank, period. And we are not a reflection of the decisions that a company or a business or organization chooses to make.
Hmm.
We love our jobs.
Yep.
And I can pretty much attest to every HR professional that I know who has an HR role genuinely wants to do what's best for the employee and for the company in balance. They have
Yes.
the best intentions. And we don't have the lines of authority that people think we do. When
Mm-hmm.
someone is terminated, HR does not terminate people. That's the
We,
biggest misconception I think I've seen ever.
yeah.
We are the ultimate blame for whether someone is released from work or not, or the decisions that companies make. And so
Mm-hmm.
know that that HR professional that you have there, even if they don't tell you the steps that they're making, most times they are making the steps, they're asking the questions, and they're trying to get proper resolution. And so
Yes.
rather than assume or blame them for whatever the outcome is, take a moment to experience that that
Yeah.
could be happening.
Yeah.
And it's not only just HR is just 1%, right? Because that's another thing that I think is a
Yeah.
big challenge in the world. If you come to see HR and they're not available or they're in a meeting, if it's a 500 employee company and there's one HR professional, there's
Yeah.
500 of you with concerns and one individual. Now
Mm-hmm.
imagine that one individual dealing with 500 concerns,
Yep. Yep.
right? So have some sympathy, some understanding, some empathy for what an HR person balances and the
Yep.
battle that they face on a daily. Because if your role is a mediator, you can guarantee that every single day someone is not going to be so excited about the
Correct.
perspective you're giving. Because if you say
Yes.
to the company, this is not the right way, they're annoyed because they can't proceed. If they say to you, you the employee, that is not the appropriate behavior, then you're now upset. So
Yeah.
trust in that. You don't have to love HR, but the respect for the job that they do, which is not an easy job,
It's not an easy job. It
it needs
definitely
to
is
be
not.
upheld. And
Yes.
never stop sharing your concerns or your questions to HR.
Yeah.
Never stop that. If you
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's not going anywhere, that's still the first step. Even if you
Yeah.
did it in HR, you feel like nothing happened with it, that's still the first step because we
Correct.
want to know what your concerns are. And your
Mm-hmm.
concerns and your expressing of those are usually the first steps towards change because
Yes.
everything has levels and layers to it. But
Mm-hmm.
trust me, you won't go into HR unless you genuinely have an interest in
Correct.
balancing that bridge. Otherwise, you
Yes.
won't take the job at all. So if they're sitting in that
That's
seat,
true.
they're sitting in that seat because they want to make a difference. So allow them
Exactly.
to.
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. I actually was talking to someone about that just yesterday, and I was saying, it takes a special kind of person to take up and say, I want to be in HR because you're giving mainly from your heart most days. That's
Yes.
not easy, and it can be very exhausting. You're
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to different stories and experiences, and that's not easy. And you're dealing with people who sometimes just don't see the bigger picture, can be very one-sided, can be difficult, and you're dealing with all of those people. Whereas, an employee comes in with one problem with one manager, and you're dealing with six managers who have a similar problem. So just I really do appreciate you saying, just understand the full picture before you decide to blame HR categorically. Thank you so much for that.
Of course. Of course.
So tell our audience, where can they find Tiersa Hall if they want to interact with you, connect with you, learn more from you, about you? Where can they go?
All right. So if you want to find Tiersa Hall, you can find me on almost every platform, but the main ones that you'll find me on every day is LinkedIn, followed by Instagram. I also dabble in Facebook, not a lot. So
Oh,
LinkedIn and Instagram.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes I pop back on TikTok for my young generation HRs because a lot of them love that.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for more interactive stuff, that's usually where I'm at, TikTok and Instagram. And then
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn really captures my full platform. You can
Mm-hmm.
also find my website. It's www.tiersahall.com. And there's my basis of the work that I do. But I love interacting. I love messaging, chatting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually on top of those things. So if you want to reach out to me about anything, details about book, what I do, just general HR questions. I have a lot of people that ask that.
Yep.
Working with Forbes HR Council, I get a lot of questions on that. So yeah, anything like
Mm-hmm.
that, feel free to reach out. As Julie always said, we're in this to make a difference. I went into HR consulting and doing the work that I do because I believe that HR professionals need support, right? And
Yep.
so outsourcing those skills and those responsibilities so that you can focus on the heart of what you need to without the headache. And Julie's
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing and making sure that you're taking care of your mental state. You're making sure that you're making decisions for yourself and you're learning how
Mm-hmm.
to pivot and you're learning the foundation of what HR brings. Like that's our heart's purpose and passion to make sure that people are supported and have what they need. We don't want you to leave the field because we love HR, but
Yeah.
if you want to leave it because you feel that's the best, then find something that matches with who you are. But that's where our basis is support,
Yeah.
understanding. And so I'm always open to that.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. And with all of that being said, my friend, you have survived your time in the sound booth today. Thank you so much for being here. It was an absolute pleasure to finally sit down and chat with you. And I'm looking forward to many more conversations like this. My door is always open. Come back and talk to us anytime. I know there's a lot of HR stuff that we can talk about.
Awesome. HR forever.
That's right.